everyone, it's Libby from Maighstir Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people. It's WORIMI, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides and the universal energies. Now, I forgot to hold this up on my last video, just as well I put it in asterisks to writing underneath them. Entertainment only. Okay, what I want to have a look at now is, after the fiasco that happened on Friday. You all know what I'm talking about. The hero of the day is currently in the UK undergoing talks with the UK and France in regards to an assistance package prior to an EU meeting, which is interesting. EU meeting that it includes Canada. So it's almost like a NATO. It's almost a hybrid, and I gather Rutte will be there. So it's a hybrid NATO-EU meeting. The US is not invited. And then there will be another NATO meeting on the 6th of March. But what I want to have a look at, one thing I want to mention is Mark Rutte did come out. He is, got to remember at his heart, he is a diplomat and a politician. I believe he was Prime Minister of the Netherlands for 14 years or somewhere thereabouts. Publicly came out. Now, this doesn't mean what he thinks privately. I'm saying publicly coming out. So you've got to remember that international politics is like playing a game of poker where everybody's cheating. They've got cards stuffed up their sleeves under the table. They're not telling anybody what's in their hand, etc. So Rutte came out publicly and said Zelensky needs to repair the relationship with Felon 45. The White House. Now, why did he say that? He's basically placating Felon 45. Felon 45 is very superficial. He's very got about the facade. He's very shallow. I'm just going to say shallow as possible. So it was to placate 45. Basically treating him like a 6-year-old to try and sort of put a bit of wool over his eyes in regards to what the EU, NATO are up to. Because despite the disinformation put out there, the US has supplied $83 billion worth of finance, but mainly old equipment, which is still really like it beats anything anywhere else has in the world. But most of what was supplied was actual equipment that was reaching its end of its US use by date. End of its use by date full stop when you're talking about munitions, etc. Because they do have to be destroyed after a certain period of time, it's a bit like use by date on food. So that we're reaching their use by date, and we're going to be replaced by US manufactured new stuff anyhow. So it meant, hey, let's get rid of this. It saves us the cost of disposing it and puts money in the pockets of the US when they replace it anyhow. So it was 83 billion, regardless of the claims of how much it was. However, there is still $91 billion worth of equipment and monies that has been, under the Biden administration, was approved to go to, and Congress, so passed through Congress, signed off by Biden, another 81 billion that was approved to go to Ukraine. So, what they're trying to do is they're just trying to appease Felon 45, and first of all, he's so transactional, but he's so blatant in that if you give him a little bit of a grooming and Mr. President, you did so well. Basically, if you suck up to him, he will, if you fawn at him, he believes it. It's just, he's so obvious, obviously shallow. Anyhow, So that's why Urute made that comment, is the vibes I got when I saw it. I mean, first, like everybody, when they first saw it, they were probably aghast. But that's what I felt was behind that statement. So, is Zelensky safe? Yes, I feel he is. He's currently in the UK, talking through a package. Where do I go with this? Just going to ask. Show me. I'm using the Light Seers Tarot for this, big contrast from the last dark meeting. Okay. So I'm shuffling and splitting the deck, the Six of Wands, being seen and heard and applauded for who they are. You're talking about what, 20, 30, 40 countries came out, including Australia, New Zealand, etc., saying we stand with Ukraine. Being seen and heard and applauded with the messaging that's getting out there. And the Page of Pentacles, an offer being made, an opportunity being made. An offer of an opportunity. It is only a page, but let's have a look. Oh, goodness me. Let's have a look. Here's this King of Cups again. I don't know if we know who this King of Cups is yet. It was my Joe Biden card. It's not my Vladimir Zelensky card. That is the King of Wands, the inspirational leader who takes action, steps forward with his powerful messaging, etc. The King of Cups is more, I won't say he's a behind the scenes guy, but he's more of a calm, stabilizing force. It's not my Mark Rutte card either. So I'm not sure who this is that's going to step forward as, I'm going to say, the new era world, Western world leader. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. How is oh gosh, I mean, the fact that it's the top EU countries, Germany, France, Poland, look, there's a whole list of them. You can find it online, so if I've missed your country, I apologise, including the UK, who is part of Europe but not in the EU. And the UK is Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. I suspect Ireland will be there as well, and Canada, and Rute, and a couple of other interested parties along those lines in these negotiations. This is US not invited. This is a pseudo EU NATO alliance meeting that's going to be taking place. And there has been a massive shift, or there is a massive shift underway about the center of the leadership of the Western world. So, Felon 45 thinks that he's it, but I'm sorry, he's just about to lose. He's already lost. He's already lost. Okay. There is going to be a massive offer here for Ukraine. It's going to be on offer, and I think it's going to be what Ukraine decides it needs. Instead of being told what it will have, it will be up to Ukraine to choose what it is that they need. So instead of being forced to take whatever they can, I think they're going to put it to Ukraine. Right, we're here for you. What is it you need? And yeah, the offer being made again. The offer being made and the unity card. There's going to be a lot of really strong announcements come out in regards to this, and they're all pointing to the light. And it's a powerful message that's going to be seen and it's going to be applauded. So shift, massive shift. Okay, so show me. What do I want to know about this? Okay, I'm going to ask first up, is the US going to honour the 91 billion? And I'm getting into the fields that it's not. Is the US going to honour the signed off contract obligation? Now, I can't remember who said it. It was someone really powerful that said the US the US as your enemy is dangerous. The US as your friend is lethal. This is big time ally stab in the back energy. But as we set out on a new journey. Okay, I'm going to show you these cards because they're really interesting. Literally flung out while I was talking about this. This is part of a bigger plan. Oh yeah, there's Bindi in the background. And I hate to say it's a plan. This is a new journey we're on. It's part of something bigger than any individual country. We've got the Hermit here sitting on this crag, but the light is being shone, and they will be coming down and taking the steps to start this new journey here, the new path that needs to be taken. So it's forcing the countries that were taking a back seat and just letting the US take control of stuff, forcing them to come off their crag that they'd put themselves on and start on this journey. There is going to be, now which order did these go in? There is going to be an element in regards to this about would have, should have, could have, if only we had done different things differently, some regret about the past, about some emotional regret about what they gave away. So important that these other allies that are joining together, that are meeting, look at what is available in the here and now that is on offer. There's no point lamenting, oh, you should have done this, no point in accusations or lamenting past decisions that were made. They're done. Can't go back, can't change them. Need to look at what is on the table in the here and now going forward, what they can bring to the table. The Three of Swords, the anguish, the heartbreak, the despair. Danny Shay had this. Oh, right. It was Danny Shay. Was it Danny Shay? I can't remember. Who had the Queen of Wands? No, it wasn't Danny. Oh, it was Laurie. Okay, sorry. I don't watch a lot of readers because I just don't get the time. And it's usually horizontal on the couch at night with my tablet propped up on a cushion. So half the time I don't know who I'm watching, and I forget and I fall asleep during it anyhow. So it's just more I let the videos play to support their channels more than anything, rather than actually listening to what they say. I think it was Laurie who was talking about the Queen of Wands, Laurie from The Way of Positive Change. But Danny Shay had this card, I believe, a couple of times last night in one of his in his reading, and it was a glass heart, and the heart is so fragile, and it is easily shattered. This is about the anguish of betrayal, but it's also about a need to go through the 7 stages of grief to stitch this heart back together again. So these leaders that are meeting, there's no conflict here, but they need to turn away from the would have, should have, could have about this betrayal. And I'm going to say, and it's not the American United States people. We know that it's not the people. It's just like if I say the Russians, I'm not talking about the Russian people, I'm talking about those in the Kremlin and those associated with the Kremlin. The anguish of the betrayal. However, out of that, This heart is put back together and then put away. This is not an emotional issue. This is a logical, brutal honesty, truth, wisdom issue. Where this queen, she's put this heart away, accepted it, put it away, and said, right, what do we need to do going forward? Because this is a new path where these leaders are being forced to come down off their individual isolation and start together on this journey. So this is the Queen of Strategy, the Queen of Brutal Reality, the Queen of Wisdom, and she's looking to the future. So there's going to be some really interesting, I'll just put these back randomly. Yeah, there will be some, what the F happened? But it's going to be okay. This is huge dynamic shift. Show me. Will, out of these meetings, the EU the inspirational female, the Queen of Wands, whoever she is, the messenger, the nightmare situation that they've been thrust into and they're desperately trying to rebalance and find the money. Now, okay, the German foreign minister came out yesterday, day before, and talked about the potential threat of Germany going to war footing. So again, planting those seeds. I think after seeing the shite show on Friday, I don't think there'll be very many Germans that say that are against moving to that footing. And that footing may mean troops going into Ukraine, or it may mean more austere, they're trying to give, is it a steer where the government holds back money so that they can send it out, to pay, put into other places, like, for example, armaments and or sending to Ukraine. A stew, you know the word I mean, against, because I think they understand that if they take the same old easy path, somebody's a puppet of somebody else, but they also know that if they take the seductive easy path, which is not easy, it's just the one of, oh, I'm not going to take any action on that, not taking any notice, but it's just going to end up in despair. Got the world coming together here. The world coming together, they are being faced with the choice: do they stay in this safe, secure, and just watch from afar, dreaming about what could be, or do they step out? It is going to be, this is a karmic moment, a destiny moment for the whole world. And they can choose to move into the light or step into the devil darkness, the sun, the devil. And either way feels like a gamble, but I think they're going to come together. Ten of Cups, my unity card, the emotional unity, and I think that's what people are demanding. So the Germany Foreign Minister gave a speech on that, really quite inspiring speech. The British Prime Minister Starmer, who I'm not a huge fan of, but boy oh boy, did that timeline shift on him Uh, when he brought Zelensky into number 10, he made a point of saying, do you hear that cheering out there? They're cheering for you. They're cheering for Ukraine. This timeline we're on, that took place on the 5th of November, and I know a lot of you alongside me, and I was in a different country at that time, felt a huge shift, and it shifted everything that had gone before. The stealing of that election changed so many timelines going forward. The stealing of it. If they hadn't stolen it, it would have progressed along the one that we were all yapping about beforehand. But because they stole it, secrets coming to the surface, the moon, the lunacy, the revealing of the lunacy. But this is also one of those eclipse cards. But we feel like we're emotionally drowning at the moment. We need to come to the surface and see clearly. Allow ourselves to float to the surface. Don't struggle. This is not about struggling. Allow ourselves to float to the surface. And there's some really powerful Ukrainian mythology that talks about mermaids as well. But we need to allow ourselves to come to the surface and see without, this is immersing yourself into what's happening emotionally. This is about seeing it clearly without emotionally drowning. But it's also one of the eclipse cards. One of the eclipse cards. And everything is going to turn. And when's that? 5th of March? Okay, let's have a look. 22 minutes in. Let's have a look. How will this meeting go for Ukraine? This meeting on the 2nd. I'm getting on the 6th. I don't know who from the US is going on the 6th, and they are going to get an absolute dressing down. May not be in public, might be in private, but they are going to be absolutely have strips torn off them. But let's have a look. Let's have a look. This meeting with the EU and NATO members, US not invited. How's this going to go? How is this going to go for Ukraine? How is this meeting? These meetings, thank you, they're telling me meetings, plural, going to go for Ukraine. How are they going to go for Ukraine? How are these meetings going to go for Ukraine? You wouldn't believe who popped out. You would. This dude again. This dude, Zelensky. Is it going to be Starmer? Starmer is blonde. Is it going to be Starmer? I don't know. But they're going to make themselves known. It's not King Charles, despite the fact that there's a, pardon me, crown over the head here. It's going to have a sip of coffee. And here's my Zelensky card, the man of action, the man of inspiration, with courage and strength. But we've got this straight up with the EU, NATO, US not allowed. Okay, it's going to be about giving help. It can be in the challenge position, so there might be some challenge in this discussion, but this can also be a compliment. So we've got this discussion going around, figure 8, about a path forward. Oh gosh, I can't say I've noticed that. If you look at the bottom, there is a path forward. Nightmare situation, absolutely. This is the energy they're stewing in. Nightmare situation. The country that was 6 weeks ago was a strong and firm and reliable ally is no longer. How quickly it turned and how quickly it will turn again. I'm just going to tell you when it gets to whatever the climax, the crux, the moment is, it will turn just as quickly. At the moment, the energy that they're in at the moment is, oh my goodness, what just happened? However, you've got the white raven here coming through to dispel this darkness. In the past, the inspirational queen, it's my Avril Haines card. Laurie from Way of Positive Change sees this as one of the female EU leaders speaking out. So this may be the German foreign minister with her speech, her inspirational speech. Crowning the reading, we've got the Moon card, surfacing from the emotion of it and shining a light, exposing the lunacy of it all. Right, the immediate future. It is so important that these leaders do not get caught up in the emotion of what is happening, because if they do, they'll find themselves bogged down and unable to see the clear path forward. They'll get bogged down in the toxicity of it all. So goodness me, I hope this doesn't happen, because this challenge here is round and round and round discussions in this nightmare situation. Okay, so I'm really hoping that they make the 7 of Cups, it's about choices, that they make the choice not to get distracted by all this, that they choose this cup here that shows a clear path forward. Externally, 5 of Cups, loss, disappointment, heartbreak. Okay, what's going to happen? Externally, please, anybody who's going to be there, you need to stop pouring everything into this false, unfillable well that has this false promise in it. There is opportunity abound in the background here. This goes with that 4 of Cups as well. They need to turn away from what is literally sucking them dry emotionally, but also the reliance on the United States. They need to turn away from this false light, this false hope, and look at the options that are available to them that they're not looking at. So this is going to be a really interesting discussion here. Internally, the sense of betrayal, the outrage at betrayal, shining that the light is coming through. They are now seeing that the US is not an ally, not a friend. It's almost this realization. Now, when I talk about the US, I'm not talking about the US people, just that my heart absolutely breaks for you. This is Felon 45 and his cronies betraying, stabbing in the back their previous really strong allies. hopes and fears coming together, getting out of this darkness, out of this dark messaging and not going back. The outcome, letting go. Oh, I like this. The outcome is letting go. Let the truth out there and let it go. And step over into a new beginning. There's only so many times one could be stabbed before there's no more injury that can be done, but I'm really feeling this is a letting go of this betrayal. So they've got to go through this process, and I'm feeling this is very much they're going to go through a grief process. Heartbreak, loss, despair, betrayal. But the outcome is they're going to come to this conclusion of, right, that was then, this is now, let it go. And stepping over into a new beginning, walking away from what no longer emotionally does not serve, no longer serves, to a new beginning, a new dawn. And then they can move into, right, this is what we have, this is what we can do, this is what we can create. Manifesting, creating, drawing on this well. So the externally, being pouring themselves down this false hope, this false light, this false beacon. The outcome is they're drawing their own light, their own beacon, their own. So I like those cards. And then we've got the King of Swords. Truth, wisdom, courage, knowledge, reality, strategy, action being taken. Do like these cards. Okay. And then if I keep going, we've got the Hanged Man, viewing things from a different point of view, and the Star of Hope and Healing, and the High Priestess, connecting into higher self, realizing there is a dark side and a light side, hidden agendas being revealed. Just look at the major arcana to finish up with. Stepping into their power, their authority, and taking the steps to bring about the future that they want. The Hierophant taking control. And then the message being put out there, the Knight of Wands beating the drum, putting the message out. The Three of Wands, broader horizons. A strategy, plan coming to fruition on the international scale. The decision needs to be made, and I think it will be made, to step up and step out. And then the Sun card. And then strength, courage, Mama Lion protecting. The Lion protecting the inspirational warrior. An offer being made, circles of support, seen and heard and applauded. The birth of a new world order. Contracts, powerful contracts and agreements, but also personal contracts and agreements. And a new beginning. Okay, I like these cards. I do. Okay, I'm going to use the same cards because I don't want to be biased. I like those cards. They have a process to go through where there will be a grieving process at the betrayal of who they thought was their staunchest ally. We know this is not the people. We know this is the regime. I just want to have a quick look with how the 6th of March is going to go. I'm just going to very quickly put out there the Ontario elections because I do like to, when I get things wrong, like to mention them. Yeah, Ford apparently to 75% of the seats or something. However, on that same vein, one of my beautiful viewers pointed out that my reading said that he'd declare the victory, but something will happen and it won't be. I didn't realise Ontario used tabulating machines. There are reports of the machines still being in their cardboard box as people were feeding in. So just the top was exposed. So let's see how that plays out. I'm just going to leave it there and let it see it plays out. Okay, how is the US going to be treated at the NATO meeting on the 6th of March? Okay, what's going to happen at the NATO meeting? Trump's already signed, Felon 45's already signed an intention to leave NATO. What's going to happen at the NATO meeting on the 6th of March? What's going to happen at the NATO meeting on the 6th of March? NATO meeting on the 6th of March. Okay, well, the card that flew out was the Queen of Pentacles. It's very much about healing, nurturing, protection. Protection's huge. May also be money discussions, etc. But she's very much about connections, healing connections. Okay. Challenged by the hidden agenda being revealed. Unity. This is also connection with higher source, universal energy, a knowledge, wisdom. So what's going to happen with NATO on the 6th of March? United front, closing ranks here. The Sun card, so that's coming out of the meeting later today. Tower moment. Tearing down of what was so something better can be rebuilt. It's, yeah, there's a redefining of NATO happening here. The wisdom of the greater power, the protection, the closing the ranks, and the tower. This is the unity that's coming out from the meeting later today. Okay, let's keep going. A decision is going to be presented about which path forward to take. An offer externally is going to be made. Internally, circles of support and closing ranks. And then we've got the betrayer in the midst, the hopes and fears. I'm getting the feeling there's going to be an ultimatum of, are you in or out? You're either in or out. This meeting that's happening now is going to be huge. The outcome, the Knight of Wands, powerful messaging, loss, heartbreak, despair, betrayal, but this new leadership coming forward of wisdom, knowledge, truth, honesty, and Ace of Swords, new beginning. New leadership, new beginning. There are actions that need to be taken to bring it about, but new beginnings. Ending of a cycle, new beginning. Real shift. In the face of this betrayal and treason, there's a huge shift coming. Something out of left field, but also pigs can fly. Going to feel like they're defected. Something's going to be cut off, the lower legs cut off perhaps. We know who the lower legs are, but it comes from a place of integrity. The cup is next to these legs that are come off, and the flying pig is there as well. I think they're discarding the emotional flying pig. The Knight of Swords, rapid movement forward, harsh truth that spurs them on. Five of Swords. It is pretty much a nightmare situation to a degree, but stepping into their power, letting go, discarding and stepping into their power. And this is a new journey that they're on for the world. The universe has got their back in this. It's a new birthing of a new world. Ace of Wands, new messaging, new inspiration, new plans, and the Star of Hope and Healing. What have we got? 1, 2, 3 aces. Tower, betrayal, 3 aces, new beginning, new beginning, new beginning. Circles of support, circles of support. I don't know that the US is going to like the message that they've got, they're going to get. I think they're going to be called out, and I think they're going to be basically, are you in or out? What? Okay. What side are you on? Let's see how that plays. Love to you all. Take care.